show, but I'm not the star of the show. That honor is going to Larry Kelly from the law firm of LGKG, Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. Comes here once a month to just fascinate us. Larry, good morning and welcome.
I'm not so sure anybody has ever used star of the show and my name in the same sentence.
Oh, well, here you are.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do it all the time.
I appreciate it.
It's been for years. I'm surprised it hasn't caught on yet.
What's that?
Star of the show.
Oh, yeah, right. Star of the show. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not the star of my own house. How could I be the star of this show?
I think you're kind of a pioneer in this sort of thing, though. How long have you been doing this, coming on the radio talking?
That's a great question. I'm going to tell you how long it's been. It's probably been 30 years.
Wow. See? Who was doing it before then?
Who?
Who was doing it before then? I don't think anybody. I can't remember,
nobody
any
that I can
law
recall
firm or anything like that.
No. I think it's important when you hire a lawyer that you know a little bit about them and what makes them tick. There has to be a relationship between a lawyer and his or her client. And, you have to have a feel for who they are and what they're all about. But that works both ways. I have to understand my client, and my client needs to understand me. And that's why I do this. I could come up here and tell you about all the multi-million-dollar cases we've had and my trial expertise, but I don't think everybody says that. And nobody wants to hear that.
But you have to be good in order to make that happen for your clients.
Well, yeah. Listen, as I like to say, God didn't bless me with many gifts, but he did bless me with the ability to speak and to articulate on behalf of others, and I try to use that gift for the benefit of others every day. That's why I'm a lawyer.
But you have a well-rounded life. It's not as if, your work is your life. You've got a family, you've got a house, you are a coach, still a coach, so it's not like you have a lot of free time on your hands.
Number one priority is to be the best father I can be. Number two priority, to be the best husband I can be. And then number three priority, to be the best lawyer that I could be. So, that's always been my priorities and the way I've always done it. But I was telling these two young men, chase your passions. That's why I always wanted to coach. Had I got a teaching and coaching job out of undergraduate school, that's probably all I would have ever done. My coaching career, though, didn't start, I think, until I was 40. And it was the 5th and 6th grade girls basketball team at Holy Redeemer. And I loved it.
There's a book out about that.
I wrote a book, and I never had a coaching job that I enjoyed more. And so I've been doing that. I'm 71 now, so I've been, coaching at one level or another for 30 years. Yeah. And I love it. It gives me an opportunity to hopefully mentor young people, give them the benefit of my experience. I'm a John Wooden advocate. I probably wrote every book he's ever written. And he says the coach's job and obligation is not only to make better players, but to make better people. And I try to do that.
But a lot of people don't realize this, but you couldn't have achieved all that you have achieved and everything that you talk about without a strong partner. And by that, I mean your wife.
Oh, wow.
Because
42 years. I think you know my wife, Marisa.
Yes.
42 years, yeah. You can't.
It's one thing to go to work and do your job, and she say, okay, that's fine. You're providing for the family. Then you say, I want to coach and I want to do this, and then and a lot of wives would say, what are you talking about? You're never here. You stay home once in a while.
Well, that's my passion. Mm-hmm. She understands it and allows Larry Kelly to be Larry Kelly. That's what she says, and then she says that's not easy, but. The life, and I said this the other day, I was fortunate enough to win an award, the Champion of Justice Award that's given by the Western Pennsylvania Trial Lawyers.
Congratulations.
To a lawyer who, has done his job or her job. And what I said is the life of a trial lawyer is an emotional roller coaster. And the highs are really high and the lows are really low. You get a big verdict and you're feeling really good about yourself, and then all of a sudden you get beat a couple times in a row and you can start to lose your confidence. Marisa was one of those people that when I got too full of myself, she brought me back down to earth. But at the same time, when you lose a couple cases in a row and maybe you start losing your confidence, she's got your back and reminds you of all of the good things that you've done and how many people you've been able to help. So I've been blessed. I thank God. When I hit my knees every night, I thank God Marisa Kelly's my wife. I always say, you want to wish something bad on somebody? Wish them a bad spouse.
Yeah,
they're miserable every day. So
happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
They say. Yeah. But and your daughters, I know you want to bring them in here, and we'll do it sometime.
Yeah,
with
we
them
got to
as
do
well.
that. Lauren, Erica, Gianna, and Ariana. They're smart like their mother, Mike. 3 of whom are lawyers, and the baby Ariana is an anesthesiologist. So, they.
She's the only one that didn't get into law?
Yeah, my wife was a nurse, and
Okay.
So she she got her one vocation. But Lauren and Gianna work with Dad. Erica still works at a med-mal law firm in Pittsburgh doing defense work. All 3 of them worked together for 10 years. It was really neat. Yeah. And now 2 of them work with me. They make life easy for their father. And trust me, I've learned very quickly that my girls, they're like their mother, and they're smarter than their dad. So, Lauren primarily is doing all of the medical malpractice stuff. Gianna primarily is doing the auto cases and the workers' comp work that we do, and they both do a great job. It's amazing. When they smile, the people on the other side just do whatever they want.
That's good. And all these different factions. There's so many different parts of being a lawyer. So many different, I guess, what would you call them? Practices to be in. You picked personal injury.
Yeah, in the world that we live in today, when I first started practicing law, it was not unusual for lawyers to be general practitioners, meaning they handle all sorts of areas in the law. Can't do that anymore, Mike. You just can't. The law has become so specialized. So at LGKG, we're pretty much a personal injury law firm. I would like to say, like Edgar Snyder, people always know who he is, except we think we do it better, but that's a biased opinion. Medical malpractice cases, automobile accidents, workers' compensation cases, Social Security disability cases, cases where people get bitten by dogs. It's amazing how often people lose control of their animal and it goes and bites somebody. We just had one where a little kid, the thing about a little child, they're the same height as most of these dogs, and when little kids get bitten, they get bitten in the face. Oh, yeah. And that is not,
disfigured.
Oh my God, it's terrible. And, so we've done that. And what people don't know, it's an interesting factoid. And I'm a board-certified civil trial specialist. It's like a board-certified doctor, so I can say this. I kind of become a specialist in dog bites. And what the law says in Pennsylvania is a dog doesn't get one free bite. It just doesn't. That's not the law. In other words, your dog doesn't have to bite somebody before, the next time the dog does it, then I might be responsible. The law says in Pennsylvania that if your dog bites somebody without provocation, without being provoked, it's considered and defined as a dangerous dog under Pennsylvania law. So I've had that fight with a few insurance carriers who want to tell me, well, this dog's never bitten anybody before. It doesn't matter. Here's the law. I'll send it to you.
All people say that.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't
my
bite.
dog doesn't bite. I want to meet the guy that says, my dog bites, you better watch.
Right. And people love their pets. They're part of the family.
We have a family dog. Yeah. Habibi, we love him. But you got to, the law is you're out and about, you have to keep your dog on a leash.
And people take their dogs to places that they don't belong. They shouldn't be.
How about on airplanes?
Yeah, that's one of them. But you'll have the Elwood City Festival coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And people will be walking around with their dogs.
That's fine as long as it's on a leash.
Yeah, but even so, I worked for the Humane Society for a while, and those what are they called? Detractable leashes.
Yeah.
This thing. We warned against them because people who let them go long and they don't control the dog.
Right.
And so you have those problems.
And again, most dogs are so docile and gentle.
Yeah.
But there are certain breeds of dogs, Mike, that are just genetically a little aggressive. That's their propensity.
Yeah, and you get into
French poodles. I haven't had a case where a French poodle has bitten a child. But I've had dogs where pit bulls and Rottweilers and dogs like that tend to be a little more aggressive.
Certainly. Larry Kelly is our guest from the law firm of Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly and George, LGKG. We'll talk with him all about the aspects of the law, the cases that he has, the cases he's taken, and he just opened up the door to another one, and that is pet protection. Some people do have insurance on their pets.
Well, your homeowner's insurance will cover liability if your pet bites somebody. So, but sometimes these people live in apartments. They don't have any type of renter's insurance. Their dog bites somebody, and there's no way to recover. You know, a child gets bit in the face, Mike, the plastic surgery bills could be $50,000. And the last thing you want to do is leave a scar on a beautiful young child's face, you know, so you need the right people doing the stitching, if indeed that occurs. Yeah.
More with Larry Kelly coming up on Beaver County Radio.
Summer has arrived, and the deals are red hot, maybe even hotter than the summer's hottest days at Moon Township Ford. Ford's From America, For America employee pricing program is just in time for your 4th of July celebrations. Be the buzz at your 4th of July cookout with a brand new F-150 Bronco or Bronco Sport sitting in your driveway. Ford salutes all those who serve by offering an additional $750 off your new vehicle. Combine that with the employee pricing, and your savings are out of this world. Moon Township Ford is also buying cars every day, and they're paying over the moon to fill their current used inventory needs. Call or come in and see them. Ford's America for America employee pricing program going on now at Moon Township Ford, University Boulevard. Come celebrate the 4th of July with Moon Auto.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends.
Spring has sprung. When it comes to ice cream, none are quite as big as Hank's Frozen Custard and Mexican food. For over 78 years, the highlight of spring and summer in Beaver County has been to visit Hank's Frozen Custard and Mexican food. Now here's the big question. Have you had your Hank's today? Enjoy a different custard flavor each day. Stop by and order your Mexican food too, whether dining outdoors or at home. Make the trip to Hank's Frozen Custard and Mexican food. You won't be disappointed. Make a tradition with your family or friends by enjoying Hank's today.
Are you frustrated by high copays for your generic drugs? Stop overpaying and start saving. Discover Forward RX, your local cost-plus pharmacy in New Brighton. At Forward RX, we believe in transparency and affordability. No insurance middlemen, no inflated prices, just the true cost of your medication plus a simple fixed markup. Join the Forward RX family today and experience the difference. Check out our medication prices online at fwdrx.com or give us a call for a price quote. Forward RX. Come for the savings and stay for the service.
Rev up your engines. It's time to celebrate summer in a new way. Gnu's Body Works has everything it takes to make you the star of the show at this year's car cruises. It's time to restore that old ride to its former glory. Call on Gary Snare and his team at Gnu's Body Works with over 20 years of experience. Gary cares about your car like it was his own. He can get your motorcycle ready for the road too, along with collision and general body repairs. So get ready for the happy days ahead and call Gnu's Body Works, 8th Street in Freedom.
When you talk about community involvement and safety, the name Fry stands at the forefront in Beaver County. Fry Transportation's mission is to continue to raise the bar as the gold standard in their industry by providing the safest, most reliable, and cost-efficient transportation service in Beaver County through their strong relationships with their communities, best-in-their-class drivers, equipment, and technology. There's nothing more important than the safety of their students, employees, and community members. Fry Transportation, where the quality of their organization is characterized by the makeup of the individual behind the wheel.
You're listening to Beaver County Radio, your home for local news, information, and music. Brought to you by Fry Transportation. Beaver County Radio and Fry Transportation, helping to make Beaver County a better place to live, work, and play.
Start your day with breakfast at McDonald's. Enjoy their buy one, add another one for just $1 breakfast special. Whether you're on your way to work or on your way to school, McDonald's has the right breakfast for you. McDonald's breakfast. I'm loving it.
We're having an enjoyable conversation about the law and the legal firm of LGKG, Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. And pretty soon it'll be Kelly, and Kelly.
Maybe. Yeah.
The big K.
Yeah, the Kelly girls, as I said, my daughter Lauren and my daughter Gianna, they've been with us now for 2 years. Lauren's been a lawyer for 12 years, Gianna for 7, both graduates of the University of Pittsburgh School of Law. And
how exciting is that? I mean, because your daughter, I know your daughters, grew up, they played the game.
Played basketball against your daughter.
Right. And so, you were there for all of that. And then they decided they're going into, my daughter went into education, my son went into nursing. Nobody wanted to do this. Nobody wanted to be radio people. How'd you get them into law?
They just watched what I did, and, you can make a difference in somebody's life. Doing what I do.
Sure.
Not in every case, but in some cases. Mother loses her husband, has 2 children. You can go out there and get a recovery that allows her to be the best mother she can be. She doesn't have to go get 2 jobs now. She can just still work one and be the best mother she can be. I've done it. And they've watched it. In the summertime, they used to come and work at the law office, just do odds and ends. And, I didn't force them, but I think they saw what I did. And, they are gifted in their ability to communicate. So it was a perfect fit for them. You can help others and utilize the gifts that God gave you.
And I was going to say that for all the years that I've known you and we've talked about this, it never seems as though the important factor is becoming a multimillionaire. Although you certainly do, and you have groundskeepers, and they take care of, cutting your grass and all that. But my point is, and I'm being facetious about that side of things, but the important thing for you, it always seemed like that you were helping somebody.
It's never about the money. It can't be. I tell young lawyers, be the best lawyer you can be. And if you are, you will make a nice living. You absolutely will. And be the best you can be. That's the key. And, you can help people. What we do, and I tell my daughters this, because they were defense attorneys, Lauren for 10 years, Gianna for 5, working for insurance companies. And it was good training. But what we do on our side of the bar, plaintiffs' lawyers, helping people that need your help, it's food for your soul. Not only can you make a nice living, but you get some food for your soul. When that woman, that mother comes in who lost her husband and you tell her, don't worry, I won't let anything bad happen to you. And then you're able to provide a recovery that allows her not to have to get another job, assures that there will be funds available so that her kids can go to college. There's a college fund now that you don't have to worry about it. That's food for your soul. Mike, they give you that hug. I keep a file folder, and I might have said this before, in my desk that through the years, and it's been 40 years, I'm in my 41st year, that when you do that and you get that beautiful note from the mother or a family and you read it, and I keep them, it's food for your soul. And every once in a while, when my job starts getting a little too crazy, I'll open that drawer and I'll read a few of those notes that just remind me why I do, Larry Kelly at LGKG, why we do what we do.
Larry Kelly is our guest, and we'll continue the conversation. Noah Haswell has the news in just a minute here on Beaver County Radio.
If you need assistance with auto, homeowners, renters, life, and pet insurance, Dan Hoffman State Farm on Dutch Ridge Road is always there to help. Dan Hoffman State Farm brings excellent customer service to both new and existing customers, understanding insurance needs to prepare for the unexpected. Call your Beaver County neighbor Dan at 724-728-2702 or visit HoffmanSFinsurance.com for more information. That's Dan Hoffman State Farm, 3465 Dutch Ridge Road, Beaver.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Here's Noah Haswell.
Good morning on this Thursday, June 19th of 2025. We will have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel say they've finalized their historic partnership a year and a half after the Japanese company first proposed its deal to buy the iconic American steelmaker for nearly $15 billion. The bid by Nippon Steel was buffeted by national security concerns and presidential politics, delaying the transaction for more than a year after U.S. Steel shareholders approved it. It also forced Nippon Steel to expand the deal, including giving the federal government a say in some matters. The combined company will become the world's fourth largest steelmaker and bring what analysts say is Nippon Steel's top-notch technology to U.S. Steel. In exchange, Nippon Steel gets access to a robust U.S. steel market. Acting U.S. Attorney Troy Ravetti announced Wednesday that a Beaver Falls resident pleaded guilty to a charge of theft of government property. 30-year-old Nicholas T. Grimes pleaded guilty to one count of the charge on Tuesday. Grimes stole benefits of approximately $216,779 by negotiating the benefits from an account of a deceased Title II Social Security benefits recipient through ATM transactions as early as 2014. Grimes will be sentenced on September 29th. The Beaver County Transit Authority and the Beaver County Rehabilitation Center have recently given opportunities for jobs for disabled residents. The two companies teamed up to hire 3 residents from the Beaver County Rehabilitation Center to both detail and clean the fleet of Beaver County Transit Authority buses. According to officials, these residents will help the maintenance teams on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Pennsylvania State Police in Beaver report that a male teenager from Hookstown was charged after causing a single vehicle crash in Raccoon Township on Tuesday. An unidentified 17-year-old was going very fast on Frankfort Road and did not have control of his vehicle when he spotted a deer. He then crashed on the east side of the road and hit an embankment. The teenager was charged by police for the incident despite sustaining no injuries and his vehicle getting towed. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano reports that there is a waterline break in Monaca. According to a recent Facebook post, all water in the area of 15th and 16th Streets have been shut off. The Monaca Water Authority is currently working on the waterline break. According to a release from Congressman Chris Deluzio's office, $10.5 million in new federal grant funding was recently awarded to the Allegheny County Airport Authority. This assists the construction of the new terminal at the Pittsburgh International Airport. The project is $1.5 billion and features a sustainable design, security that is improved, and operations for passengers that are more efficient. The project is almost done, and by the end of 2025, it will be open. A daycare worker from Cranberry got charged with assaulting a 3-year-old boy during his nap time. According to court paperwork, 26-year-old Joshua Brandstetter was charged with endangering the welfare of children and simple assault. Police confirmed the boy was injured at Alley Alligator Learning Center, LLC in Cranberry Township. Investigators found that on May 22, 2025, the boy hit a bed frame after Brandstetter pushed him on the back forcefully.
Here's the Beaver County forecast.
Breezy today with rain and thunderstorms likely. We'll see a high near 78. Showers and thunderstorms tonight will drop down to a low around 59. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a slight chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms. We'll reach a high near 82 and a low around 65. And sunshine on Saturday. We'll see highs in the upper 80s and lows around 70. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
That's a look at the news for now. I'm Noah Haswell on 99.3 FM, AM 1230 WBVP, 95.7 FM, and 1460 AM WMBA, also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
Beaver County Radio and the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company have teamed up again for the 3rd annual Cruisin' the Ridge Car Cruises. This year's car cruises are presented by Falcone's Moon Township Ford, AK Nahas Appliance, Furniture, Mattress, and TV, and Dan Hoffman State Farm Insurance. Join us Saturday, June the 21st from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. for the second of 5 cruises this year. The cruises are held at the Beaver County Radio Studios at 4301 Dutch Ridge Road in Brighton Township. Solid Gold Saturday host J.D. Merkel will be spinning tunes in the parking lot. There will be food trucks, a 50-50, and a Chinese auction. New this year is a swap meet area, and each cruise will have a theme to it. June's theme is trucks. The cruises are rain or shine, and the first 100 receive a dash plaque. Collect all 5 for a chance at a special prize at the end of the year. Cruisin' on the Ridge is also sponsored by Freedom United Federal Credit Union, Rochester Paving and Seal Coating, Hank's Frozen Custard and Mexican Food, the Fryer Transportation Group Incorporated, the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company, and Beaver County Radio.
Welcome to Live Mike with Mike Romai. This is the show that talks about what's happening in Beaver County. Noah Haswell will have news at the top and bottom of each hour. Now, here is the host of the show, Mike Romai.
It is about 24 before 11. This hour is with Larry Kelly of the law firm Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. And not only when the microphones are on, but when the microphones are off as well, we talk about the legal profession and some of the cases. You are the president of the Trial Lawyers Association?
Yeah, it's called the Pennsylvania Association for Justice, formerly the Pennsylvania Trial Lawyers Association. So, yeah, I'm president of that organization. It's probably the highlight of my professional career. You know, you can get a lot of, all I ever wanted, Mike, is the respect of my peers. Like in your profession, your peers know who the guys and gals are that are really professional at what they're doing. And it's the same in my profession. And growing up through the profession, all I wanted was the respect of my peers, because they know. They know who the good lawyers are. And being named to the Pennsylvania Association of Justice position of president, we have 2,000 lawyers statewide, is a real compliment to me. And, you know, it just, I have the respect of my peers, hopefully, and that's what I always wanted.
And there's a lot of inside baseball that goes along with probably get together and have a few drinks or dinner with colleagues around the state. But the people on this side, the people who would be clients of all you people, what do we need to know about that sort of thing?
About what goes on? Well, you know, again, I get to rub shoulders with lawyers throughout the state, some of the best lawyers in Pennsylvania. And you should never stop learning, Mike. You know, I'm a big fan of Jim Valvano, who was the head basketball coach, North Carolina State. The young kids don't know who he was. But he said, in your career, you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. You're not staying the same. Yeah. And to be able to rub shoulders and share ideas and theories and trial techniques with lawyers from all over the state of Pennsylvania has made Larry Kelly a better lawyer. And, you know, so I strive to continue to learn and become better. And that's what that organization and my affiliation and leadership role with that allows me to do.
How has the profession changed in the 40 years you've been practicing?
It's become more specialized. You know, it's become more specialized. As we said, it used to be you could be a general practitioner. I'm not so sure you can do that anymore because the law has become so specialized. You better be a student of the game. You better know everything there is about the changes that are happening weekly, monthly, yearly in your area of expertise, because if you don't, you could miss something.
And there are a lot of different facets to that. You're talking about not only personal injury, but there are people who are injured at work. And some of these roles change from Washington. So that comes down into the state level, and you have to be up on that and figure out what they're changing and why are they changing it.
I'm not a big fan of politics, but unfortunately, in my role as president, I need to know what's going on politically because, there could be laws that substantially affect, the rights of my clients.
Workers' comp changes all the time.
Workers' comp changes all the time. And, look, guy gets hurt at work, He's not getting that paycheck every 2 weeks. Can't pay the rent. Can't feed his family. Really? People around here take that stuff seriously, man. Right. And, so again, we at LGKG will advocate sometimes strongly for those people. I told you I got this guy, I'm generally a pretty nice guy. I think people on the radio think I'm a pretty nice guy, but there's this guy that lives inside of me that I don't like to let out of his house because when he comes out, it gets ugly fast. But every once in a while in a work comp case, when I think that the insurance company is taking advantage of a worker and his or her family is suffering, I could get ugly really fast. But I don't like to do that not very often does that happen.
And insurance companies, they exist for one purpose, right? To protect their client.
The insurance company's job is to collect the premium, not pay the claim.
There you go.
You had that backwards, kid. And every year I like to check and see what insurance companies make. And I can't remember what year I checked on State Farm. I think it was $3.1 billion in net profit. So, yeah, they're doing okay on that side of the table. Yeah, they don't have to worry about how they're going to pay the electric bill next month.
But they worry about how they're going to pay off a claim. Somebody gets injured.
Yeah, sometimes they do. They don't like to get.
They're
in the business of collecting your premium, not paying your claim. My dad, who was in the insurance industry, the sales portion of it, told me 50, 60 years ago, they're the best run businesses in America. And they are, then and now. And, so, yeah, they know what they're doing. So if you're involved with an insurance company, you better have a lawyer advocating for you because they got 50. And whether it's LGKG, Larry Kelly, or somebody else down the street, you better have a lawyer that is advocating for you.
Talk about when somebody comes to you and wants you to become their lawyer. They think they have a case, but maybe you're not as convinced that that case has merit and should go to court. How do you deal with that?
Give them the benefit of your experience. Yeah. I have seen the movie before. There isn't a case that I have handled in the last 10 years that I haven't seen 500 times probably, in my career. And, most of my clients, truth be told, are friends of mine. I got one that's listening, my buddy Johnny Yearage. He always listens to our show.
Sure.
And, so they come to me because we've known each other for years. They know what Larry Kelly's all about. I know what they're all about. And they're looking for a little bit of guidance. And, 99% of them are looking for guidance and accept the guidance that we at LGKG are going to give them. Our firm's been around 90 years, Mike, 90 years. And if we give you bad advice, guess what? We're not hiding in some skyscraper in Pittsburgh. We're walking down a street in Newcastle or Beaver Falls, buddy. If we don't call you back, you know where to find us.
Yeah.
So we pride ourselves. My dad had the best definition. Personal integrity. Said it's really simple, son. Do what you say you're going to do. Sounds easy, Mike, but as you know, not everybody does it, man. And I work really, really, really hard to do that. Really hard.
About the expectations that people have. I mean, they're coming to you. They want to win. They want.
Well, I want to win too, Mike. I got this bad habit. If they're keeping score, I want to win. They want justice. And nobody cares about justice until you need it. I found that out, right? Nobody really cares. They think that they use it as a punchline. We at LGKG use it as a credo. And, nobody really cares about justice until they need it. And again, justice might be that biweekly check in a work comp case. It might be a recovery for a family that lost a breadwinner in a terrible accident. And we've had all of that, Mike, and they're sad cases sometimes.
We've experienced a lot of rain in this area over the last about 15 weeks.
You think?
Yeah, and so the potholes aren't getting filled as well as they should be. Road dangers, hazards on the roads, accidents on the roads, because of those potholes and other things that should be taken care of. Are you able to file suit against them?
Yeah, the people at PennDOT, the lawyers at PennDOT know my name because we've had several cases in my experience involving PennDOT. And when I bring it, there's a reason, and they know that, and they're good lawyers. And I think, again, the respect of your peers. Potholes are a little different. You know, it's hard to replace them all, and the PennDOT has to have written notice that a pothole is creating a traffic danger before they're required under law to respond to it. But we've had several cases. The last one I had was a Beaver County case. There's runoff from a private property that's running off onto the roadway. It's freezing in the wintertime and creating a dangerous condition where my client's going to work at 5:30 in the morning, hits this icy, driving a speed limit, hits this runoff, car flips over, hurt really, really bad. And again, PennDOT has responsibility for that. Through our investigation, you know, we realized that this runoff was a problem that existed for a while. They knew about it, and there are various steps they could have taken, some very easy as digging a ditch to collect the water so it doesn't run on the road. They didn't do it, and we were able to obtain a recovery for this family.
I'm sure there are a lot of people listening that know of such spots around the area that aren't taken care of, but it's always slippery.
One of the things we did was canvass the neighborhood. Guy said, there's a wreck here a week in the wintertime, you know. And again, it's just certain road conditions need to be taken care of because they create a real hazard to the traveling public.
What about people who may be in an accident but think, I'm not injured, I don't need to contact anybody?
Well, maybe they're not.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not. But you should get checked out. I can't tell you how many times at LGKG somebody's involved in an accident, you know, their knees swelled up, but it'll get better. You know, they wait a week, it hasn't gotten better. They waited 2, now they can't walk. And now it takes another week for them to get an appointment with a doctor. So they're a month out. And the first thing the insurance company says, that accident was a month ago. How we know you didn't fall down the steps? It's insane. So you should get checked out. The one good thing about Pennsylvania law is that it's a no-fault automobile insurance law, which means that regardless of who is at fault for the accident, your automobile insurance company will pay your medical bills. And it doesn't cause your premium to go up. There's no chance that they're going to cancel your insurance or anything like that. There are no copays, there are no deductibles, and you don't need a reference, or what do they call those things that a doctor gives you, a referral. You don't need that. So if you want to go get checked out, you just show up at the doctor's office and give them the claim number. Now, you should contact your insurance company and tell them that I was injured. I'm going to make an appointment with a doctor. They will send you something called an application for benefits. It's good insurance. It's the best health insurance you can have. Because the other thing is the doctors and hospitals and all other medical providers must accept what is paid by your automobile insurance company as payment in full. They can't bill you the difference. So you don't get a bill down the road for $20 because the bill was $100, insurance paid $80. It's the best insurance you have. If you think you're injured, use it. If you have questions on how to use it, call LGKG. Larry Kelly, you can get a hold of me. Go to the website, lgkg.com. It's really, really easy.
I got to believe that a lot of people don't even know that.
Most people have no clue, that every automobile insurance policy in Pennsylvania has medical pay coverage. You cannot waive it. So, again, you can call us, 724-846-4400, and that'll ring through. You can ask for Larry Kelly, and we'll explain the process to you.
What if they say, we have a doctor we'd like you to see? You don't have to go to your doctor. Come and see our doctor, the insurance company.
In workers' comp, you have to do that for the first 90 days. But in auto, nope, you go see whoever you want. That's the beauty about automobile insurance. Anybody you want. No referrals, no copays, no deductibles. You have the coverage. The mandatory coverage is $5,000. Some people have 10. Some people have. I have a client who was horrifically injured. They had $1 million in coverage. And because they could not return to their home, and now they are in an assisted living facility to the tune of $4,500 a month.
Wow. That
they would have to have paid out of pocket. They had no clue. They contacted Larry Kelly at LGKG. The automobile insurance company is paying the $4,500 a month because they were smart enough to have $1 million of medical pay coverage on the policy.
See what you can learn just by being here, this once-a-month segment, with the sit-down with Larry Kelly from Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. It's an eye-opening to hear about that side
again,
of the
it's
law.
the specialized nature of this law. And again, Mike, I'll tell you what I tell my clients, and maybe they can see it on TV.
Yeah,
I don't like having gray hair, brother, but I've earned it. I've been doing this for 40 years. I'm in year 41 right now.
Yeah. And through all that time, we didn't talk about sports today, but Riverside Panthers.
Oh.
How about that team?
That was a great baseball team. My daughters went to Riverside, so I root for the Panthers. I still, of course, know Coach Oleastro. And as I told you on the air, I wasn't a great baseball coach, but my only claim to fame might be I have a winning record against Coach Oleastro, and I'm not sure there's another coach in Western Pennsylvania that can say that. Yeah. But Danny Brown, Johnny Elms, Coach Marnicio, Danny Brown and Johnny Elms were former players. They helped Coach O run the team, but it was a great team. Great talent.
What, 2 years
Listen,
in a row?
I'm going to say this,
Yeah.
okay, and I hope Coach Oleastro doesn't get mad at me. I had a team that won the Whippeal Championship at Shenango High School, and we finished second in the state. We lost the state championship game 7-6. It's all about the players, and he would tell you that too. Mm-hmm. I mean, the coach has a little to do with it, but it's all about the players, Mike, and Riverside had great players this year.
The sad part about that is they're going to move on.
Well, is it sad?
Teams are going to change.
Play
They're
in
going to go to college
somewhere.
ball.
They're going to advance their education.
Yeah.
That's almost the beauty about high school.
Was it you who told me before we went on the air?
Pardon me?
Was it you that told me before we went on the air? It doesn't hurt that they had three pitchers that can throw 90 miles an
they
hour.
had three pitchers that throw 90 miles an hour. The Lucarelli boy, Zach Hare, and I think it's Hunter. It was Hunter and Mitch Garvin. There's two Garvins. They all throw 90 miles an hour and throw it over the plate. And, Zach Hare's going to my alma mater, Slippery Rock, in the PSAC. You can get to the major leagues there. Lucarelli is going, I just learned this. The coaching staff from Duke left and went to the University of Virginia, and I believe he's going to Virginia. I heard that from Danny Brown yesterday, which is an ACC school and a great baseball program. And I think Garvin is also going to Slippery Rock. So my dear friend, the coach up at Slippery Rock is a dear, dear friend of mine, and he got some good players coming.
Do you like to just sit back every once in a while and attend those games, just sit in the stands and watch it?
Oh, yeah. Much less stressful than being the third base coach.
For sure.
Yeah.
We just have a few minutes left, and it just reminded me of something without names or anything like that. What if you have an altercation with a police officer? Is there any, is this personal injury? Does that fall into personal injury?
It depends if the police officer goes overboard. It's a personal injury case. It's actually a civil rights action under 1983 of the Pennsylvania Civil Rights Law.
So there's a lot of protection out there for people in all walks of life.
There is, as there should be. Some people need protected, and some people don't. We fight for people that can't fight for themselves. It's what we do. Normally, when LGKG's on your side, the other side might be a huge trucking company, could be UPMC. Allegheny Health Network.
Yeah.
You think they got a lot of lawyers? They sure do. So, we fight for people who can't fight for themselves, and we do it on contingent fee contracts, which means we don't win, Mike, you don't pay.
It's amazing. And as I'm traveling the roadways, and you're on some rural road, and those trucks, UPX, FedEx, or any of them, and they're just pulled off. They don't even pull off the road. They stop. And it's a 2-lane road, and they run up to the porch. I mean, they've got a job to do, and they're on the clock and all that kind of stuff, but they're blocking traffic.
We, more than that, we have a tragic case that's in litigation now where a truck on the Pennsylvania Turnpike struck and killed a 49-year-old woman, leaving behind a husband of 25 years, 3 children, 14, 13, and 8. Those are tragic cases, Mike.
Larry Kelly, tell us how they can get a hold of the law firm.
LGKG.com, 724-846-4400 in Beaver Falls. We got a toll-free number. You can find us, Mike. If you're looking for LGKG, you can find us.
And look for Larry and the staff along the roadside somewhere.
Those 2 pretty girls on our billboard are my Lauren and Gianna. Like their mother, though, Mike. I can't take credit for that.
Blessings to you and your family.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Larry Kelly
it.
from Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, George.
We all have a dream. Tom Sipes Demolition has a dream that started with a pickup truck and a hammer. A dream that has grown into a business with full-time employees, heavy equipment, tractor trailers, and more. Whatever your demolition requirements are, including asbestos removal, Tom Sipes Demolition can do